Well, hello there guys. I'm sure most of you are here from my Wildanator series, but in case any of you are new viewers, hi, my name's Wilder. Past couple of years I've been playing a Wilderness Restricted Iron Man account, so I like to think I'm fairly well versed in the Wilderness. I'm sort of in the bracket of I'm a Wilderness enthusiast, but I don't particularly enjoy PKing. I'm the prey that covers myself in sugar and glitter and dangles myself out to be a tasty snack for those PKers. Anyway, I wanted to make a quick video to showcase the new Wilderness weapons and sort of give my thoughts on some of the new Wilderness updates. The new weapons are as follows: the Accursed Scepter, the Ursine Chainmace, and the Webweaver Bow. This is just kind of going to be a sort of one take type thing, so yeah, it's just going to be a bit of a ramble as well with some footage in the background. So, firstly, you're able to get all the attachments from the new Wilderness bosses, which we'll come on to a little later. These attachments you can attach to the already existing Wilderness weaponry from the Revenants. My initial thoughts on the attachments themselves might be a little bit more controversial than you expect. Honestly, I don't think the Crawls or the Vigora's Chainmace attachments to make the Webweaver Bow and the Ursine was particularly needed. They're both already best in slot weapons when you're using them in the Wilderness. However, giving them both a special attack is kind of fun. It also doesn't trump any of the weapons outside the Wilderness all of a sudden, and it gives people that are wanting to anti-PK a little bit more of a level playing field. So they're certainly not needed in my opinion. However, Jagex have done a good job of giving them a fair and reasonable place, I think. I think that we can all agree that the Theramins drastically needed an overhaul, and with the Accursed Scepter, they've done this. It was criminally underwhelming and expensive to use, however it now has its own spell, similar to the Trident, that's powered by Revenant Ether that you put into the staff. It also has a right-click swap feature, which allows you to be able to auto-cast Ancients and normal magics, and this is something the community's been screaming out for, so it's really nice to see. I'm really pleased with the job that they've done on the Scepter, and yeah, long overdue, but it's nice that we finally got it, and it brings it a lot more in line with the other Wilderness weaponry and their rarity. I've had quite a lot of fun in the beta worlds testing some of the max hits. Take some of this with a pinch of salt, as I was using the max gear available to me on the beta worlds. Some maxes I was able to achieve were as follows. So with the Crawls and a Slayer Helm, I was able to hit a 52, which isn't massive. However, the Crawls, as we know, is an incredibly consistent hitter. It's also a very quick weapon, and with the Avarice I was able to hit a 55. The Vigoras is a big, chunky, beefy boy, and yeah, with the Slayer Helm I was able to hit an 84. With the Avarice I was able to hit an 83. With the Blue Skull I was able to smash a 95 with the Chainmace, with the new Ursine Chainmace, so that is absolutely huge. And then I realised I was wearing the Revenant bracelet, which admittedly if you're doing revs you probably would be wearing, but I was like, right, let's get some gloves on with some strength bonus, and yeah, we absolutely smashed it. We managed to hit a 99 with the new Chainmace. It was so cool to see, and it was really fun to use, but yeah, that's an unreal hit. And with the Scepter, I was able to hit a 54 with the Slayer Helm, and a 49 without the Slayer Helm. So yeah, pretty beefy hits to be honest, and using their own spells. I haven't bothered going in looking at sort of Slayer XP rates and Barrage and tasks and things like that, because Poison Potion does actually have a video that's just uploaded with those sort of things on his channel. I will put that in the description. If I forget, just yeah, remind me. So let's talk and get some information on the Wilderness boss rework and my thoughts. My first thought is absolutely. The current Wilderness bosses are clunky, poorly coded, really easily farmable when you pull them away, and safe spotting, and it's just not the way that, you know, a Wilderness boss should be coded. They're really poor, and I really hope that they get an update. The workaround that players have made for the bosses does mean that they're like farmable for things like pets and things, but they're just not engaging, and come on, we want some engaging battles. The Wilderness being such a wonderfully unique area means boss fights could and have the potential to be so engaging for both solo and team players, and for PKs and PVMs alike. Similar to Revs, they want to add an entrance fee. I like this idea because it will stop complete welfare, but also it will stop raggers. Once you've left the boss room, you'll have to escape and traverse your way through a fun and engaging escape room. I think this would be really cool because you get sort of an engaging battle running away from PKers. You could find spots to sort of hide, spots to jump across, get through. Yeah, I think it's a really cool idea. I like it. Each boss will have their own lair, so no more dragging them halfway across the Wilderness in order to safe spot them. because let's face it, unless you do, they're virtually impossible to kill. I think that that's really cool that they're all going to be in their own lair and you don't have to use the sort of dragging across the safe spot method. I think some of the graphics that Jagex have been pulling out recently are really cool, so I can't wait to see what they get knocked up for these different lairs and how they turn up. I think they could make it really sort of spooky and immersive, and yeah, just looking really cool and a really, just add a really nice touch when you're fighting the Wilderness bosses and having to fend off PKs and give it that spooky feeling that, let's face it, the Wilderness really should have. So when I was kind of considering these a while ago, I didn't know whether they put them in multi or singles, and I couldn't really come up for why they should put them fully in either. So I'm really glad they've kind of come up with a plan to put them in both, sort of. Yeah, I think that's a really cool idea. I think it gives team PKers people to go hunt in the multi-spots, but you can also load up with your mates, and yeah, you can sort of anti, you might get a team of 3 or 4 run into a massive team killing Callisto, for instance, and then you can anti them, which I just think is really cool. And it also gives the team PKers some love, but also people that are only going to be able to solo, myself included in that. I'm pretty much only going to be able to use the solo ones probably, and it also gives solo PKers some love having them in solo spots as well, so I really like that. I think they seem to have a really good grasp on the risk versus reward in the multis and the singles. So for the multi GP, they want to head towards sort of Vorkath, which I think is around 3 mil, maybe a bit more than that, an hour. And in singles a lot less, rightly it should be. Although myself, I'm likely going to be pushed to the lower GP with the singles. I'm completely fine with that because I do think that the Wilderness should be built on risk versus reward. They're also talking about dishing out the uniques to both the singles and the multis, which I really hope they do. I hope they don't just keep it in the multi, because that really does close off a lot of content for single players. However, they're thinking about doing it in the gauntlet type sense. So like with the corrupted gauntlet, that will be like the multi, so the uniques will have a really good chance of getting them, and then the normal gauntlet will be in the singles, so they'll be like really sort of rare, which I think is a great idea. No problem with them being rare in the solos. I think that's how it should be. I also do quite like the fact that, yeah, they also address the lure, because people were like, it's just a bit weird having 2 of the same boss in different spots. So they sort of said, it sounds a bit funny, but like, rather than having 2 Callistos or 2 Vetians, what they're going to do is they'll have like Callisto in the main multi-cave, and then in the smaller cave they'll have like a littler bear, Callisto's cousin or whatever, just to make the lure a bit better. I'm sure that they'll put some NPCs around to sort of explain it all. But I think, yeah, all in all, I think it's just a really cool concept and a great idea. So this was something a bit different, just a bit of a Ramble style video for you guys. It was a bit of fun trying the old like So Solid 2K style type max hits. Yeah, any of you remember him, you're absolute OGs. And just giving some of my thoughts. It is just my opinion, so take it with a pinch of salt. But please do discuss in the comments below if you want to ask me anything or anything like that. I do love a little chat, as long as we're keeping it polite and friendly. Next Wildanator episode, so we're coming up to this weekend. It won't be this weekend, we've got a lot of work on this weekend. I'm hoping to have a new Wildanator episode out by next weekend. We are coming towards the tail end of making the video. All I need to do is be editing it up and yeah, stringing the last few little bits and bobs together, tying up a few loose ends. It's going to be a pretty nice one, guys, so look forward to that. If you aren't already, guys, please do subscribe, because yeah, we put a lot of time and effort into our Wildanator videos and things like that. If you like this style of video, just this ramble type one, I can make these much more quickly. Let me know and we can do a few of these in the future. Until next time, guys, I hope you all have a bloody wonderful weekend. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.